The waves crashed against the rocky shore as Clara stood at the edge of the cliff, the old lighthouse rising behind her. The salty wind tugged at her hair as she clutched the letter she had found buried under a loose floorboard in her grandmother's attic. The envelope, yellowed with age, bore only the initials EM. It had been a week since Clara moved into her grandmother's seaside cottage after her passing. The discovery of the letter had been a surprise, its words a mystery. It read, "My dearest, the sea separates us now, but know my heart belongs to you alone. If fate is kind, meet me by the lighthouse on the first full moon of the year. Until then, I remain yours, always. EM." The letter was dated January 1925. Clara had been drawn to its romance and tragedy, imagining the secret love that had unfolded by the waves. Tonight, under the first full moon of the year, she felt compelled to honor their story, even if it was long lost to time. As the moonlight spilled over the sea, painting it silver, Clara turned to leave. But something caught her eye. A figure standing by the lighthouse door. He was tall, his coat whipping in the wind, his face half hidden in shadow. Clara's heart skipped. Who could be here at this hour? She hesitated before stepping closer. "Did you write the letter?" she called out, the question almost absurd as it left her lips. The man turned, his gaze intense yet kind. "No," he said after a moment, his voice deep and rich. "But I found one too." Clara blinked, her grip tightening on her letter. "What do you mean?" He reached into his coat pocket, pulling out a nearly identical envelope. "I found this tucked into the base of the lighthouse years ago. I always wondered if it was meant for someone, or if it was part of a story no one remembered." Clara stepped closer, her breath catching. "Who are you?" "Elliot," he said, smiling faintly. "I'm the current keeper of the lighthouse." Their eyes met, and for a moment it felt as though the world held its breath. Clara showed him her letter, and they compared the two. The handwriting matched perfectly. "I've spent years thinking about them," Elliot said softly. "Wondering if they ever met, if their love survived the tides." Clara's heart ached at his words. "Maybe this was meant to bring us here," she said, the thought taking her by surprise. Elliot smiled, the kind of smile that warms even the coldest nights. Maybe it was. As the moon climbed higher, they stood side by side, two strangers drawn together by a love story written in the past but brought to life in the present.